you. Well, the hardest moments of my life thus far have been experienced at LCU. Normally, a statement of that kind would preface a story of 4 years of apathetic professors, grueling classes, and a stagnant spiritual life. However, my story is quite the opposite. Born into an LCU family, I have always known that I wanted to be a Chap even before I was aware that chaparrals existed. In 2009, I showed up on LCU's campus feeling like I had made a huge mistake. I cried for the first 3 months simply because I missed home. But before I even realized what was happening, LCU had become my home. I quickly learned the difference between an LCU professor and a professor at any other university. When I was sick, an LCU professor offered to bring me soup knowing that I was 1,300 miles away from home. And when I was drowning in a sea of homework and extracurricular activities, an LCU professor personified God's grace via an extended due date and after-school tutoring. And when I could barely afford food and gas, let alone the dues to be inducted into an honor society, an LCU professor offered to pay my $50 dues so that my membership in that society would help me get a job. And when, amidst all the drama of growing up, and I felt like my world was falling apart around me, the Dean of Students continually prayed with me and looked out for me as if I was a member of his own family. This is my LCU. I have felt the frustration of trying to explain a social club to someone who does not go to a Christian university. I have felt the undeniable joy of winning Master Follies and the undeniable embarrassment of directing a losing show. But what remained constant was the group of 70-plus Christ-like women standing beside me and loving me through my highest highs and my lowest lows. I know the elation of being named on the president's list, but I also know the panic of failing a class. And what remained constant was the judgment-free support and dedication of a faculty that daily works to go the extra mile. The real beauty of an LCU education is that learning is a partnership between professor and student. It is not limited to educational growth, but it includes spiritual growth as well. I came to LCU as a 17-year-old who had never been out of the country. I am graduating today as a 22-year-old who has traveled to Nicaragua, Africa, and Italy, thanks to the doors that LCU is committed to opening for its students. Through these trips, I gained a worldview and a deeply rooted sense of gratitude that without LCU, I know I would have never experienced otherwise. On a more serious note, I was offered an African lion in exchange for my hand in marriage while in Kenya, which is one more offer than I've ever received here in America. So now, thanks to LCU, my standards have increased exponentially. Now, it is no secret that LCU comes from humble beginnings. What began as a vision inside the mind of F.W. Maddox became real when ground was broken in a cotton field. Obviously, these are not the flashy beginnings of a billion-dollar university overflowing with endorsements and funding. But rather, these are the humble beginnings of humble men who, in their shortage of money, left an abundance of room for God to do what men cannot. LCU is a living testament to the prosperity that endures when the hearts of men seek to glorify God in all that they do. Throughout my years at LCU, I have made several friends with people who attend another university. I won't say which university that is, but I will say that if you take a right on 19th Street and drive approximately 3.2 miles, you might run into their school. These friends of mine rarely see the president of their university, let alone speak with him. And I mean no disrespect to this anonymous university, but it is important to note that not only do I have the opportunity to daily speak with President Perrin, but I've had the honor of being invited into his home. And I am not the only one. President Perrin, like Dr. Jones before him, makes a habit of inviting any student that is willing to come and visit with him and his wife. The point that I'm trying to make here is that you would waste more energy trying to be inactive and disengaged at LCU than you would spend simply deciding to jump into the unique culture of individual acknowledgement that exists here on campus. I recently did a Google search on LCU, and among the most popular search questions like, what in the world is twerp week, and when will the field house remodel be finished, I found this sentence in an article on the Texas State Historical Association's website. It reads, "The university is funded by tuition and gifts of hundreds of friends, businesses, and foundations. And what I see in that statement is a university that people believe in. A university that hundreds of alumni, like my parents, feel proud enough to send their own children to, and a university that people have enough faith in to sign their name on a check. I can say with absolute certainty that fewer things have broken my heart like leaving LCU. As a freshman and sophomore, despite the fact that I may tend to be a little overdramatic at times, I wholeheartedly believed that my life would be void of all joy after I graduated from what has so far been the best 4 or maybe 5 years of my life. But yet, another testament to the wonderment of this place is that not only am I now confident in the future that LCU has steered me towards, but I'm anxious to get out and start my life with the skills that I've learned here. It is inevitable that when I get out into the real world, people will ask me why I left sunny California and made the long trek to dusty West Texas. But my answer is simple. I will tell them that Lubbock Christian University is a safe place where you can learn how to fall and get back up. Thank you.